So if everybody starts taking its place, that would be good. Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. Yesterday's strike forced us to imply some program changes, but living in EU would not be living in EU if it wasn't high quality as ever. Nevertheless, we are still waiting for one of the panelists, so let's hope he shows up. Otherwise, the three others, which I thank to be here, will have more time to talk about their own experiences. This morning I was reading in Politico that the city is full of strange faces. Well, I don't know who's in the wrong circles, but I see all familiar faces, so really good to see you. And welcome to the third edition of the Living in You Digital Assembly, under the, as usual, very long title, Empowering Cities and Regions Through Data and People-Centered Digitalization. My name is Wim de Kinderen, should be somewhere on the slides, and it says Brainport Development, but in daily life I'm also working for the city of Eindhoven in the Netherlands, and today I'm serving as your moderator, as the chair of the best network in the world, which is the European Network of Living Labs. If you're interested in Living Labs or have no clue what it means, come talk to me. Living in You is the network for local, regional and national governments, helping all of you to use digital technology to achieve your sustainability and climate neutrality goals. We develop initiatives on our own, support others who bring our own goals together, and are also and foremost a community where we share solutions and learn from each other. We will learn about that in particular today. As said, my own association, ENOL, the European Network of Living Labs, was very instrumental in setting up Living in You in the most close collaboration possible, and I can personally testify that with Eurocities, OASC, ERIN, and the CEMR. And from the very, very first start in 2019, we have enjoyed the support of the European Commission and the European Committee of the Regions. And we are the very first and only multi-level governance network on digital transformation. I'm very happy to be in the house of one of our two major supporters, the Committee of the Regions, during this flagship annual event, which is the European Week of Cities and Regions. For those of you who are in the room and are not yet part of Living in You, we currently have 209 signatories. We will be welcoming a few more at the end of this session, and we are open to all municipalities, regions and member states across the EU. So I hope that today's session will inspire and motivate you to join us as well. And inspiration and motivation is why we are here today. In the Digital Assembly, which is the political advisory body to the network, co-chaired by Luisa Moret, the mayor of Sant Boi de Llobregat, and Ivan Gojcev, the deputy mayor of Sofia. Before we start, for your information, we're going to use a few Slido questions today. And by the way, we have translation in the room. If you would need any, we have French, English, and Spanish, so you can make use of the translation services if needed. So just to get a flavor and test the Slido, it would be interesting to see who we actually have in the room today. Very interesting and a little bit as expected, I think. I see it here in front of me. Municipalities, regions and governments, exactly our core target group, of course. Okay, let's start. I am very happy to give the floor to our co-chairs to set the scene. And first we will have Mr. Gojcev from the city of Sofia. Please take the floor.
Hello everyone. I'm happy to be here among you. I'm the Deputy Mayor of Sofia City, the capital of Bulgaria. My role is digitalization, innovation and economic development. And when 2 years ago the mayor invited me to join his team, it was quite an interesting proposal because I'm actually coming from the private sector. I'm not the usual politician. And the motivation to join was to bring this expertise from the outside world into the public administration world. Then a few months after into the job, I found out for Eurocities and Living in You initiative. And when I understood that the purpose of it is to empower cities with technology, with frameworks, with tooling, I felt this is the natural place that I could join and our city could sign the agreement. Then it came the opportunity to become even to participate as a co-chair and into the Living in You initiative. And when I applied, I was happy to be selected there. And I'm continuing to see the value of Living in You initiative for all the cities that I'm talking with in these 2 years. If you could switch to the next slide. Sofia, a few words for Sofia. It's officially 1,300,000 people, but maybe with the metropolitan area it could easily reach to probably even to 2 million. We have interesting problems, and we are coming into we're going through a period of transition for trying to solve overbuilding, urbanization. We have our challenges even now in the recent weeks with the waste management. We're signing the new contracts with the waste management companies that service the city. And the mayor and the team has a lot of serious problems with how to move the traditional city management into a new data-driven decision-making and policy-making into the city. I will tell you a bit more about that in the panel discussion afterwards. But I wanted to show you also a few of the projects that we're running and also initiatives that we're participating. We're trying to be active. We are a small team in the digitalization area, but to mention a few of the projects, we're participating with the mobility in the deploying EMDS. We are also active in with Climaboro project, solving climate and decarbonization problems. You see probably IRC, which we travel a lot, even outside of Europe, to exchange experiences and collaboration. And if you can switch to the next slide, we're also on the local stage. We have introduced a few projects for citizen engagement. And on this slide, I want to mention the power of data. Once we introduced the participatory democracy and budgeting project, it was very interesting how citizens started to propose projects. And here in brackets, the projects that they proposed, not all of them were actually needed. Why? Because it turned out our citizens don't really have enough data to know what is needed for the city. So with this, what I'm trying to say is we need first to open the data to our citizens, to inform them, so that a lot better participation actually comes as a result out of it. And at the end, on the next slide, just to mention again the power of Living in EU and where I found the value of it. Also speaking for other municipalities in Bulgaria, we did the Lordimas assessment for Sofia City, and we found it very, very valuable to see where we are. I'm actively actually advertising or evangelizing to other cities in Bulgaria to know where they are, to know where they should start with, and to know that there is a framework within Living in EU that they can use. There are templates, there are tools, there are guidance that they can use, because not all cities have the local expertise to follow easily on this digitalization transformation. So with this, I want to finish my opening statement. The power of Living in EU is to scale all these efforts across all cities, and we need to try a lot more to help the others that don't have local expertise, that don't have universities in town, and to help them introduce new technologies and help their citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. So next we have our second co-chair, Ms. Moret. She will be addressing us through a video because she couldn't reach Brussels due to the strike that hit Belgium yesterday.
Buenos días a todos y a todas. A pesar de que no puedo estar aquí con todas y todos vosotros, no quiero perder la oportunidad para saludaros y desearos una buena asamblea de Living in EU en su tercera edición, enmarcada en la Semana de Ciudades y Regiones. Para nosotros, para Sant Boi, una ciudad intermedia metropolitana del área de Barcelona, es un placer y es un orgullo copresidir la red de ciudades por la digitalización conjuntamente con Sofía. La verdad es que para nosotros la transición digital es una gran oportunidad que no solamente hará avanzar nuestras ciudades, sino que además es una gran oportunidad también para generar transiciones justas donde nadie se quede atrás. Por eso creemos firmemente que la voz de los pueblos y de las ciudades de europeos tienen que estar presentes en las instituciones europeas, justamente para evitar esas brechas, esas desigualdades vinculados a diferentes derechos de ciudadanía, como es el derecho digital. Así que desde Sant Boi os deseamos una buena asamblea, un buen trabajo y sobre todo trabajemos juntos y juntas a favor de ciudades más justas, más igualitarias, donde la digitalización sea una oportunidad de futuro. Buenos días a todos y a todas.
It's so good that you can always listen twice. But thank you very much to Ms. Moret. I'm inviting the panelists on stage while we also go to the second Slido. So Martin Bailey, if you could join us here on the panel, Jan Westers, and Amalia Brachnou, who stepped in yesterday, and we're very happy to have her here as the second political representative in the panel. So, next Slido, if I may. Which topics will you be focusing on in the next year? To give us an idea on which technologies or concerns, even maybe if we're talking about digital rights, you will be acting on. You can indicate a few topics, by the way. There's a multi. You can go to up to 3 topics if you want. Okay, interesting. Interesting to see digital rights there. Also interesting to see that AI is not really pushed on the buttons. Martin, maybe that's the first one to you in a minute. So after setting the scene, let's indeed move to the panel debates. We are here today to talk about real activities and initiatives, maybe even going a bit technical, but I think that's totally okay because living in the EU is all about learning and moving forward. So today we focus on how cities and regions can leverage data-driven urban policymaking and citizen engagement to accelerate the human-centered digital transformation. while ensuring access for all to digitalization and the protection of digital rights. That was also confirmed by you in the Slido. Interoperability of data for innovation and smart decision-making will be key to this debate, as well as the engagement of citizens and communities in the exercise of digital transformation, where cities, of course, are excellent co-creation spaces to make that happen. And we have an excellent panel, as said again. I will start with you, Martin. Martin, you are the head of unit in DigiConnect for AI for Good. That's a beautiful title, especially in this context. How about your initiatives as a unit, but maybe even broader, DigiConnect and the Commission, on the relevance and the applications for AI in public sector in specific, and how will the Commission continue to support smart cities in the near future? The floor is yours.
Hello, is that working? Okay, very good. Thank you so much for the kind words. I'm very glad to be here again. Well, I was here last year, so many familiar faces. I think I would like to kind of switch it round a little bit. I mean, I see there's a lot of the topics that were popular there, and the one that was, I think, least popular was AI, which is surprising, but also not surprising. And I was actually in an event yesterday, and I personally think I'm one of the pro-AI people. I mean, I work in this AI for societal good, and we do some very interesting projects, which I can talk very briefly about. But I think that's one of the things we have to kind of try and overcome, this fear of AI, that it does only bad things. I personally think that Europe has suffered hugely because not all, but a lot of our traditional industries have not been interested in investing in AI, slightly tweaking their business models so they can incorporate AI. And years later they say, oh, goodness me, Google is overtaking our business. That was an energy producer that said that. The Google's coming in, it's taking our data. But I will tell you one thing about Google. It won't wait for Europe to catch up. It won't wait for European cities. It won't wait for European industries to get our act together. So while there is some negativity around AI, I don't think we should fear it as not as the white elephant in the room, but the white tiger or something. So I think it's very important that we do embrace, while acknowledging the risks it can entail, it can bring with it. And in the European Union, I'm not going to talk about regulation, that's not my particular field, but there are many protective guardrails and safeguards. Some would argue too much, some would say too little. That's an impossible debate. To this end, we're doing a lot, not enough, in the European Commission, not least to help cities develop and harness the capacities in AI. And one of these is through, but not only through the creation of our EDIC, and I'll say something a little bit about that, and I'm very glad to have Jan, and congratulations on your appointment as director. But also, we're running a lot of projects which underpin the AI environment. We have the Cityverse projects, perhaps the Cityverse meaning metaverse for cities, for those who don't, cities and citizens, for those who don't know, which is a whole suite of EU co-funded projects which concentrate on immersive technology. So this interacting and bringing in citizens. We also have this local digital twin toolbox, where again we develop a whole host of, and it's a nice European solution. We have the Barcelona supercomputer, we have NUNCES in Spain, we have the University of Valencia. So these are real European players who are playing an active role in this. It's not US, it's not Amazon, it's not Google, but these are real, even if we're using US chips behind, this is real European strength and European prowess. And these tools, which we are helping to co-fund for the development, we'll put at the disposal of EDIC, and we'll put them at disposal of the participating cities and countries, and we encourage you to join as far as possible, and I make that plug. But beyond that, and you mentioned the EU strategies, what's happening in EU strategy. We've just come out last week with Apply AI strategy. And one of the parts of the AI strategy is public sector, public administration. Now, of course, cities, regions, local authorities are the very cornerstone of public authorities, public administrations. And so cities, and I use the word broadly, can play an immensely important role. I see we have a lot of these technical terms which I think for the average citizen is absolutely meaningless. But we can play, it doesn't mean they're not important, but we can play a very key role, I say we collectively, in using these technologies, harnessing these technologies to bring very tangible benefits to the citizens. You know, no one wants to live in a smelly street. No one wants to breathe bad air. No one wants to be caught in constant traffic jams. And these tools can make the real difference. And I think all of us, and particularly those locally elected, will be judged by the way that we confront these challenges, and using these tools can make them easier. What we're doing in the Commission, we will continue to support. Funding, I'm afraid, is always an issue, because there are many competing demands for the EU budget, and there will be for the MFF in the next round of EU budget. And I do often feel that we've done quite well in the past, but now it's been drowned out by other voices. So it's a plea to you, the cities, to the regions, and of course the member states, to make your voices heard. If you think that EU money should be used to help develop and expand and spread these technologies for the benefit of the citizens, it's important that that message is heard when the Council and the Parliament sit around and we debate the EU budget. And I think you can play an important role in that. I don't want to be speaking for too long, but I'll just say, on the basis of the Apply AI strategy, what we also need to build is an important nexus between industry, academia, and the public sector. The EDIC and other organizations or other legal frameworks and entities, and organizations such as Living in the EU, which do a great job in raising the interest of technology, the value of technology for cities, that we can encourage that interaction and really make that work, so we create a sustainable business model with industry, academia, public sector working together, and making sure, as I mentioned, one of the local digital twin toolboxes, this is a made in Europe. It's perhaps a terrible phrase to say, but it's made on the basis of European players. And it's very important that we do create this sustainability in this model, and I hope I'll be talking to Jan about that later in the EDIC. But this has to be self-sustaining. It can't just be the European Union pumping money into public organizations, even if we would wish that ourselves. And finally, I think it's very important that we build the scale. I mean, we can build these models. They can be tailored, they can be customized, they can be adapted. But if we're going to create a marketplace for these very important applications that have real benefit to citizens, i.e. smelly streets, etc., blocked up causeways, then we'll have to build these solutions at scale and optimize them in the best way possible so they suit the local needs. I'm going to stop there, because I don't want to bore you too much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Goychev, how do local and regional governments, and in particular Sofia, of course, leverage data-driven urban policy making and citizen engagement, my God, so many expensive words, to shape human-centric and resilient cities and regions? And how do you protect digital rights to make sure that all citizens can access the benefits of digitalization?
Thank you for the question. I will start from the end. How do we ensure that everyone has access to data? This is indeed the key question, because what we saw just recently, just 2 months ago, we have opened the data for the city transportation, the public transport, and you know what happened just 3 days after that? A citizen took the data and created a new map for the city transport to indicate where the gaps inside the city. If you click on the map, to see where you can reach, but where you cannot reach actually easily. And this was something that we didn't have so far. Imagine 3 days after opening the data, and it's there. No contracts, no heavy public tendering, whatever is there. It can be used. And in your question, what we consider the city authorities should do or should be responsible for is to build a platform for this kind of activities. The data to be open, of course, there are European regulations and directives that say that this should be opened, but not all cities have done the efforts to open their data. Not all of them have the means to open the data, right? And we have installed a new platform in the city, open source platform, that everyone can actually push data to this system and all the others to consume it. So when I mentioned also at my opening speech, just this week we are seeing another contributions from citizens. I mentioned the waste management problem. People started to create platforms by themselves, the citizens, to monitor which container which street is polluted and where attention is needed. Then another citizen took a drone and started photoing the city from above. A third company actually sent me this morning the pictures. They drove a car like the Google Drive, Google cars that do the Google Street stuff. And you can see 3 perspectives for solving one and the same problem. So again, the cities, we don't need to solve the problem for the citizens. We need to just empower them, just to give them the means, just to give them the data. Because these guys, okay, they have created the photos. Where would they put them? How would they make it available for the AI for good initiatives? They need the platform, they need the storage, they need the hosting, if you want, for the websites that they are created. And we consider this as our job, to answer the question how we're doing it. Yeah. So maybe I will stop here and you can ask me a clarifying question. Yeah.
Thank you. Amalia Vrachnou, thank you for stepping in the panel debate. You're representing the city of Kifisia in Greece. Your city has a long story in promoting citizen participation in the design of public policies. How are you fostering this specifically in the field of digital transformation?
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank you for this kind invitation. I'm always very happy to be part of very interesting panels and conversations and discussions and to explore what other cities are doing in this field. We're actually a newly elected administration. I'm also executive municipal council for urban regeneration and resilience and European projects and funds. So I'm always very keen on getting to know the European policies, but how they're implemented in the city level. So I'm very happy to be here. So yes, of course, as you mentioned, we have a very long and now more active, I hope, synergies and action plans towards the stakeholders' engagement, as we say. And we are actually actively fostering a human-centered digital transformation by aligning all the available and advanced technologies and through pilot European projects like the twinning model as you described that we produce through one of our European projects And we're trying to align the available technology, as I mentioned, with the sustainability and public services, along with citizens' participation and their requests and their needs. So first of all, we have developed a unified digital portal for our citizens to have access to the public services and to deliver their requests, their reports issues, and of course track the progress of each request. And this gives us the opportunity to know what's the problem inside the city, and the citizens to have direct access to the progress and direct access to the services. And we have to talk about interoperability, of course, because we're working on this along with the European standards and framework and the national directives. And we're also very interested in enhancing and empowering our citizens' participation in projects, actual projects, and especially students, university and school students. So we're now organizing co-design workshops on urban planning along with private universities. So I agree that a combination of academia and public sector is very, very important and gives an added value to our policies and planning. And I would like to mention this. I have taken the opportunity to mention that in the first week of November, we're organizing a climate week in Kefisya, which involves a lot of workshops, conferences, students' conference, panels, discussions, and workshops for children in order to get familiar to the climate resilience and climate education. So, of course, you're all invited. It's from the 3rd till the 9th of November, the second time, the second year that we're planning this, and we're very happy about this. Going forward, Kefisya integrates also digital tools to support sustainable living in terms of leveraging data from environmental sensors and smoke detectors, because we're a suburb. We actually are in a wider area of Athens, but we are in the northern suburb of Athens, very close to a very big, large surface of forest, and we have a lot of greenery in our area. We have a lot of problems with wildfires during summer. So all this data are leveraged and are depicted through a platform, and they are overviewed and supervised by our mayor and the relevant civil protection service. And we want, of course, to improve mobility accessibility for all. We're using smart parking systems. We want to design pedestrian walking paths. We have one of the largest, I think maybe it's the largest bike lane network in Greece. So we want to design pedestrian routes by connecting parks, facilities, sports facilities, maybe some points of interest for the pedestrians, for our citizens, and all this by using geolocation and the maps, so it will facilitate our residents or visitors walk and the travels. And last but not least, we promote digital inclusion and capacity building for our employees, because there's no point of building something if our employees cannot work on. And so we're offering digital training for our employees. As I mentioned, building universities partnerships and with startups, companies. And we're very interested in taking part, of course, in European funded innovation projects and partnerships.
Excellent. Thank you very much. A beautiful overview of real activities where we can really learn from you what you are doing, because that's part of living in you to share these good practices. Jan Westers, I think we have premiere, to say it in French. After your appointment as the new director of the EDIC Cityverse Local Digital Twin, this is your first appearance on a European
first
stage?
public appearance as director. Yeah.
This is your moment. First impressions count.
Thank you.
Welcome. You wanted to talk about quite a specific, but at the same time a crucial point. How do you think, how do you envision and hope that the EDIC will play a role in bridging the gap between Horizon programs and their deliverables and the operationalization to include this in the primary processes in city administration?
Yeah, operationalization within city processes. Well, maybe it's specific, but let me start with the need for virtualization, because this EDIC, this is the Network Local Digital Twin Cityverse EDIC, is very much about the virtualization of processes within cities. And to be able to virtualize these processes, and there's a need for that, I will come to that, you need to be able to connect all these digital technologies that you just mentioned, so they're not separate. It's people are as scared for XR as they are for AI. So it's, but we need to combine them and make them useful. That's actually so it's more about value, the value that is being created with that. And I think the virtualization of cities is very much a very important topic to create this value, because the challenges, the societal challenges within cities are huge, and they are very integral of nature, right? So you need to be able to define a common operational picture for all kinds of stakeholders, from energy, from mobility, from all kinds of sectors. So it's cross-sectoral. That's for starters. The second one is that there's a growing lack of resources as well, to build houses, but also in manpower. So if you want to be efficient, you need to virtualize processes and do it, virtualize the scenarios that are actually being done there. And do things right at the first time, and be very, efficient with your resources, start a circular economy. So these are all the challenges that we are bringing together with this EDIC. This is quite a challenge. And this needs, of course, cooperation on several levels. On public level, European, national, and locals in the cities. And on each level, you have your own role, your own interest, because most national governments are interested, I think, in the basic registries, national registries, to make data available, but also in public cloud, in edge computing, all that stuff, which is beyond the power of cities themselves. So that is what the responsibility for national governments is. Very important that they also get involved in the EDIC. The second tier, as I would like to call it, is the cities themselves, the regions and the cities themselves, because there it becomes practice. There we there we implement these technologies, and there the citizens actually will benefit from what we are actually developing and what we are producing. So it's on a very operational level, so you need to be very pragmatic, very, hands-on stuff like that. And here I think it's very important that we do apply in practice what is being developed from the Horizon projects. As Martin already mentioned, we are working on the local digital twin toolbox. We are working on all kinds. We have the sitcom experimentation facilities available. There's a lot of things going on. Procurement help desk. So there's a lot of things that we are actually developing. But it needs to get to practice. So we also need to have a validation from practice. So not everything that is being developed on a horizon level is already implementable. So we need cities and regions to organize themselves, link their living labs, link their test beds, link their sandboxes, and make scale. And so because you won't get beyond, the anecdotic proof of principle from pilots, you would, really want it to be able to implement it in your basic, your primary processes, which is another game. So I think the EDIC it's very important that the EDIC actually embraces that and says, okay, if you want to organize yourself, if you want to combine your forces cross-country as a pan-European force, and combine these living labs and sandboxes and experimentation ground as a validation instrument for actually implementation, then we can program and then we can facilitate, we can give access to all kinds of stuff, including the AI fabrics in different countries, that network, so that we can actually have responsible development of public services, which is very important, but also a thriving, create a fundament for a thriving application ecosystem, because we do very much need these private partners involved. We need to think carefully about how we do that, but we need to have them involved to actually create a value, but also to be able to scale. We cannot scale without these partners. So we need to have a trusted environment that we can actually have a trusted public-private partnership. And here, of course, it will be different on maybe also from a stack point of view. It will be different on the several levels that you're actually talking about. So there's always a must-have level which guarantees security or continuity, whatever. I mean, this is very much a national and European responsibility. For cities, it's very much, it's also a duty to do your homework. Be clear about how you want to be served. Be clear about the requirements. I mean, it should be interoperable. It should be portable, all the services that you're actually developing. And it should also enhance the public interest and the ethical responsibility. So actually securing the European values that we are actually developing. And I think private partners will embrace this, because then they know actually what they can do. And they will not get any regulation afterwards. I mean, so it's more upfront, being able to comply with what cities will actually ask from their partners. I think this is like the dynamics the EDIC will work on. We will develop several products, services, and facilities and make that available. That is all supply. What I just mentioned, if the cities are actually organizing themselves and have a sort of validation instrument, develop a validation instrument that we can connect to the EDIC, we also have a good feeling about the needs of cities, what they're actually working on. And I think that's very, very important, an important element that we will actually incorporate in the EDIC. Work based on needs, prioritize based on the needs that cities and regions are actually working on now, which they are ready to work on. And maybe, the AI, the AI and the XR stuff and the Cityverse stuff will come in 2 or 3 years. I can imagine that. But let's start with, the local digital twins that are already there. Combine them, network them. That's it for me, I think.
Great, thank you. For the sake of time, I'm afraid I was just told we need to skip the second round of questions, but we will definitely keep the concluding round. So the concluding round was about the future. The MFF is on everybody's mind. I heard Martin very well say that he can't say everything about it, but maybe a bit. So how do you look at the future? Some of you have, of course, already touched upon that, but maybe you can develop further. I've been hearing the word uptake and scale a lot. I think very rightly mentioned the creation of a marketplace for made in Europe solutions, let's say. I mean, if you have a good workable solution in your city, how can we help those companies in conquering the European market? A big topic on our mind, I think, is indeed the sustainability of all the incredible projects that are being run now, but they are projects, so how can we translate that into something lasting? And I, of course, coming from the Eindhoven region, I very much like the fact that Triple Helix was mentioned, but I also know that in the proposal for the Competitiveness Fund, which should be on all of our mind because it's about digital leadership, but the collaborative part there is quite absent, and I also have never read anything there on the possibility for living labs, etc., to play a part in the validation of new products and processes. So how do you look at this? How do you look at the next upcoming 2 years? Any hints and advice to help you, to help ourselves in creating a better MFF? And of course, how can we then hopefully continue working with each other in this new financial framework? I'm going to go in the same order, and if you could keep your response to 2 minutes, that would be nice. Martin, please.
Thanks. Okay, 2 minutes from now. I would just reiterate this point in a not too boring way, I hope, on the importance of the marketplace, innovation and building a solid economic model. I mean, the smart cities have got to provide economic opportunities for our economic players, for our developers of AI, for our developers of the solutions, the developers of immersive intelligence. Cities have to buy these products, or they may procure these products. These products should provide a massive opportunity. If you look at the increase in number of young people and older people as well, learning AI skills, taking AI courses, and really getting into it. So, there should be the marketplace, the demand and the supply. That's very, very important. Otherwise, we'll just import products from elsewhere. Building on that, to bear in mind, we are still very strong in a number of verticals in AI. I mean, everyone thinks AI is done by US and China. Very true for the consumer-facing AI, but for the industrial AI, Europe is still the leader in energy and health and mobility, still the leaders. And so, let's not be too pessimistic either about our own capacities, which are proven in the marketplace. For the new MFF, of course, we try and prioritize that for our field. We think it's very important, but not everybody will agree with us. So again, we need that support. One angle that we're pushing as well, and this is more with the AI for societal good arm, the AI for public good, but this is intimately linked with cities and regions, and that is this urban preparedness. So we have this. We are developing tools for fires, forest fires, in the future for floods, for disaster relief, for crisis management, which is all well and good and all very useful. And I need hardly talk to you about the importance of protecting ourselves and having the mechanisms available to help cities and regions or whoever's affected by floods or forest fires. Forest fires or fires devastating region, and then you've got the floods afterwards. But it's this preparedness, this urban preparedness. So way before, way upstream, we should be designing our cities in a way that we can minimize the impact of extreme weather events, which presumably are only going to, unfortunately, tragically, going to increase. So don't put the school or the hospital at the bottom of a mountain, for example, when the snow melts. I mean, I know that's a very, very obvious one, but think very carefully about where we must plan, not think, but, use these AI tools to carry out the models. So when we are kind of planning or replanning cities, then we can best prepare ourselves and avert and minimize the impact of these disasters. And that's one of the things we're going to concentrate on in not just future MFF, but in the years to come. We're kind of plugging to get funding. And hopefully we will develop these tools together. We'll certainly develop them in the EU at the EU level. We're already doing it for this to support the civil protection mechanism in DG ECHO. But to extend this for cities in advance, upstream. I'll stop there. Thank you.
Okay, from the city perspective, we have some specific use cases for AI indeed, and we want to use the same experience that you now experience when you use the ChatGPT kind of tools, but to talk with the city. For example, hey city, where do you need a new boulevard, or where do you need a new kindergarten? And we need to give this to the people actually. Because when I mentioned the people need to be informed, because they may think that they need a new kindergarten next to their block, but the model, the AI model can do a holistic calculation, or the algorithm could say actually the better place is somewhere else, and then the good questions will come. Why not here? Why not there? And the citizens consulted by the model, they would be able to actually, it will be easier to manage the popular opinion, right? So this is something that when we talk about future, we think we should aim there. Something else that we're looking into the future, but maybe it's even past for some cities, is outcome-based contracts. What does it mean? To not pay to companies for activities, but to pay them for results, like keeping the city clean. How do you ensure that the city is being clean? You need to again take the photos, analyze them by AI, and the AI should say this is clean or this is not clean. Go there, clean there. This kind of automation around the services that the city provides is absolute must from my perspective. And then the final thought would be future still depends on the cybersecurity investment. We saw that as the third option on the slide. Without the cybersecurity to defend all these automations, actually we will be in a very risky situation. So we need to put our efforts there.
Thank you, Ms. Wagner.
Well, in general, what I would focus on is first build the interoperability of our services, and in line with the European interoperability framework, we're in this process right now. We were focusing on aligning the data that we have, the data management, the administration services, the digital platforms, and we have the national obligations, the national objectives, the national directives, as mentioned before. And through this approach, we want to enable the seamless data exchange between our municipality services. This would help us make better decisions about our strategy. And this would give the citizens, the visitors, and the businesses, because it's not only the public sector, it's the private sector that needs to be included in all this, the correct information to plan accordingly and to improve the overall experience. And something that I would like to mention is that actually we're completing now a European project that we have in a digital like a digital logbook, digital twin of buildings, which actually uses technology, this AI technology, advanced technology, to create a digital twin for the municipalities' buildings. And the next phase is to offer this platform, the open platform, to the private sector or the other municipalities as a service to minimize the time and to make better decisions regarding the maintenance process. So it actually focuses on the resilience and sustainability of this procedure, and we're very happy to have this in our portfolio. And regarding the next phase, we are a city that we came from 3 different municipal entities, a lot of different characteristics, a lot of forests, we have water bodies inside rivers inside our area. We need this to be let's say, to create like a GIS map where all these different uses are there, and with the help, with the assistance of our citizens, we can plan together what's better in urban planning first, because citizens want to see the solutions a little bit in a short period of time. That's the issue. And that will give us the information that we need to plan accordingly, and everybody would be very happy to actually have this in their lives, let's say, to see it live, the result.
Great, thank you. Jan, again, a few examples of real stuff happening on the ground. Well, how can you work with that within the EDIC, and how do you see, well, you have explained, of course, the hopeful evolution of the EDIC, but in the context of also the future financial framework and the interaction with basically a country initiative that you are managing, how do you see that in the next years?
Well, what I see is that there's a lot of best practices being mentioned also, you know, in climate adaptive city development or in mobility or whatever. But this is, of course, the application. This makes it tangible, right? This makes it concrete for people, and they can actually relate to it. So that's very important that that happens. But the most important thing, I think, for the coming years is that we create a basis. A basis from which the cities can actually work, so they don't have to create the environment for digital twinning or for the Cityverse for each instance that they are working on. So the development of data spaces is, of course, very important. Urban data spaces, which are cross-domain. In Europe, we are working on data spaces, domain-specific, but especially here in this area, it is cross-domain by nature, because you need to combine these things. So the development of simple, I think, is very important to be able to connect these several data spaces with their own trust framework in it. So just to make it tangible, I would be pleased if we could work on what I call an open urban data space as a facility that every city could actually implement and apply according to their maturity level. I mean, the maturity level will differ, right? Some cities are way up there, you know, front runners. We need them. They will guide us. I mean, they will take us to the next step. But lots of cities, mid-sized, small cities, they're more maybe following, but also they need to have a sort of fundament that they can actually offer to private parties to interact in a responsible way. So maybe maybe I make it too simple, but developing an open urban data space will be a nice thing to do.
Thank you. No, I don't think it's too simple. You just succeed in presenting it in a clear way. So this is a call for new countries to join the EDIC and cities also to join, just like a number of Dutch cities have done already. Okay. I am also looking to Danae next to me because she's holding track of time, but there is some room for Q&As. And we also have 2 more Slidos coming up. Please.
Just one very, very small comment in this pitch for the EDIC. We do have a European data space we're developing. I'll put you in touch with Svet over there, who's in charge, but it's something to be improved. But one thing I want to reach out about in one sentence is the representation within the EDIC. We have a number of countries represented in the EDIC, which is great. We are missing some countries, Bulgaria, Greece,
Joining tomorrow.
Joining tomorrow, and most significantly, we have the Netherlands, we have Belgium, but we do not have any Scandinavian countries, and they are some of the most advanced in smart cities. So where is Sweden? Where is Finland? And where is Denmark? And these cities which are pioneers. If we do not have these front-runner cities, then they cannot, we cannot leverage the best expertise on the ground. So for those countries out there, that's a very loud appeal, and I'll speak to Jan about that after as well. But it's very important we have this geographic representation.
Well, maybe just to update you, I will be talking to Finland next week.
Great, we're turning into a promotion event for the EDIC, but I can only support a call to our network colleagues here in the room to support that, and in the context of alignment of different funding levels also, which will happen anyway in the next years, also not without importance. Dane, we have a slide coming up. Oh yeah, what is in driving digital transformation, if you would like to contribute, what is most important for you? You can indicate 2 options if you want, by the way. Okay, thank you. Well, I'm personally happy that implementing reliable solution is there. I remember a slogan that OASC used a few years ago, stuff that works, still one of my favorites. Thank you. And then we go to slide number 4, which is a word cloud. What are the main challenges for local digital transformation in your territory? To give us an idea of your current and upcoming challenges to get to work with. Interesting, immediately, yes. Yes, funding, of course. But I agree. In a co-responsibility, let's not forget that either. Good, it puts the pressure a bit on our Commission colleagues in the room, and not to forget, because you can always put your energy on the Commission, but there's also something called like the European Parliament and your own country. So do work with the 3. And I think the Commission is a partner in this, actually. So, Martin, this is also a call for collaboration. We also have a surprise guest coming up, for which I'm very happy, and I will be happy to give him the floor in a second. But first, because we had a little chat before we started, I would like to shortly ask the cities of Riga and Barcelona to share a few recent short experiences. I am looking at Jordi Ortuño from Barcelona first. Please, Jordi, the floor is yours.
Can you hear me now? Yes. Hello, everyone, and thanks. I'm Jordi from Barcelona City Council. I'm also a co-chair of Monitoring and Measuring Subgroup, that is a subgroup in Living In. I'm co-chair together with Committee of the Regions, where in this subgroup the main product is Lordimas. For those of you who are not familiar with, it is an interactive tool that help cities and communities in knowing where they are in this digital transformation journey. We are now almost 400 cities, 396, so I take the opportunity to encourage cities who are present today but no are still in to be inside Lordimas. So I'm going to the question that I would like to move to the panelists. One of the goals of Lordimas, a part of giving you a grade of your digital transformation or your digital grade, is to know how are you balancing your efforts. And I like the question first you have put regarding the different topics and what is the most important topics from you. So, and one of the goals of the Lordimas is to know if you, as a city, you are devoting a balanced efforts among different areas: data governance, service delivery, interoperability, a lot of them. I don't need to explain. And I would like to know from the panelists what is you are feeling, and also regarding the answers that I found very interesting. If cities, we are devoting balanced efforts among the different areas that we are involved, no? And it's very, very well connected with the first question that you have put in.
I'm going to allow one of the panelists to answer if you feel like, if you have the answer to the question on balanced efforts. We're not going to do the whole tour because there's no time for that, unfortunately. So otherwise, I do consider it an invitation for the lunch, the talk with, during lunch.
So
Ivan.
Maybe I can, because it looks like more of a city-level question. Balanced efforts. Okay, I will actually combine it with also the slide of funding was the word, and how to balance funding with available funds, with available resources within the municipality. We are actually struggling a lot with let's say, IT data kind of skilled people. We don't have enough. What we are doing and how we are addressing the case is actually we are involving a lot of NGOs, non-profit organizations, associations, which are actually helping us with the heavy lifting, let's call it, with the data analysis, with digital twin, let's say, piloting. We're also partnering with university and research centers that are doing a lot of work for the municipality and of course for their projects, but together actually we have the GATE Institute with the City Lab. They are members of the City Lab. So I'm not sure if I'm addressing exactly what your question was about, but what I'm trying to say is we are balancing the efforts across the available community members on this way we have the solution.
Not only communities, but we have asked before about which areas we are more focused on. No? For instance, AI, digital twins, data. So to me will be more relevant to what extent we are trying to balance the different efforts within among the different areas. No? Otherwise we are only focused, for instance, AI or digital twins, forgetting other areas that doesn't allow you to move in your digital transformation journey.
True, completely agree. There's more in the world than AI and digital twins, so it's indeed covering different topics within the city, but also I'm very much appreciating collaborating within the city region with your valued partners, and hopefully having the possibility later on in the new MFF to continue doing that. We know it's possible in the horizon, but it also extends the space of research, so in the deployment phase that would be appreciated as well. Second and last, I'm afraid for the time, Arnis, you are the CIO of the city of Riga. The floor is yours.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Arnis from Riga. About most recent activities in Riga. For sure, as Jordi was saying, we are doing the same job with the other municipalities to promote this Lordimus assessment tool. It's a good start, and we're trying to engage these cities to participate in and use the results and suggestions from the Lordimus assessment. It can help cities to build their own way of digital transformation. That's we say that there is a value in this. Then of course we took very active participation in EDIC, and we just recently started the project about Riga metropolitan area mobile data platform building up. It was a national funded project, but finally we are on the stage that we have started with to talk with the metropolitan area municipalities, and and of course they also can see the benefits from the project, and one more direction is of course this digital twins in sense of being to build up resilience, and we are looking for the alternative and green energy, and we have some ideas about the hydrogen. And the question is there something on a Commission side related to this? If there are any options or something that can be applied for the digital twins and resilience topic.
Anyone? I think, Martin, you already spoke a bit in the terms of resilience, so I think that was a big plea to, well, not even a plea, an announcement actually, that you are going to work on that in the near future. Anyone else wants to add something to this? I see Jan nodding that it's on his agenda.
Well, of course, it's a big topic, and so what. From the EDIC point of view, what we are looking at is, of course, what are the shared issues that we can actually work on together as an instrument for developing also the basic interoperable questions. So the more technical questions, if we want to address them, it's very good that we have a sort of common, challenge where we can work on, because then you can work on same data sets. And one interesting thing here is that what we were working on was developing recipes. What I would like to stress. I mean, this is a really interesting thing. Like if you develop something in Riga, and it's a digital twin for some kind. I mean, you would like to prepare the data. You would like to have the interoperable model-to-model kind of thing, and you would also like to have the secure transactions. So how nice would it be that what you develop, you could turn into a recipe, and then another city could pick up the recipe and be the cook, the master chef themselves, and have their own menu there. So then you have replicable recipes, so it becomes skill. And this is also very interesting for private partners, because then you will actually enlarge the marketplace that we're actually creating. So, well, maybe this is just something we can work on to develop further. So it's just an idea. It's more or less from the hip, but...
Great. From Jan's answer, I can also conclude that he's getting hungry. So you will have lunch in a few minutes. Both speakers have been talking about Lordimas during the lunch. Actually, Kyle, colleague from Erin, will be speaking shortly about Lordimas, so you can address him with all questions if you would be willing to know as well. Then last but definitely not least, before we go to the signing and welcoming of new signatories in Living in You, I would be honored to give the floor to Mr. Emil Bock, relentless enthusiast mayor of Cluj-Napoca. I was very well welcomed in your city last year when I was there in spring, but also the vice president of the Committee of the Regions and a big supporter, driver of innovation and digital innovation in particular. So the floor is yours, Mr. Bock.
Thank you so much for the invitation. First of all, thank you for mentioning my quality as a mayor of Cluj-Napoca in the very heart of Transylvania, Romania. I invite you all of you to visit our region. I'm some kind of boss of Dracula in a way or another, so, and you should be aware that it's not blood anymore, it's Wi-Fi and innovation around it. By the other hand, which I have in this very moment here, it's to send a very warm message from the President of the European Committee of the Region, Kata Tuto. She asked me to come here and to send first her apologies. She couldn't make it. We are still in the plenary session with a lot of votes because it's the last day of the plenary session. And I want to send a warm message and also to deliver a short speech about our view concerning your work. So dear local and regional authorities, dear mayors, I know very well that all politics is local, so for me it's not something unusual to speak with you, because I do understand, because you are the persons who are making things happening on the ground. You are the one, as I said, who makes things happen. Your role in digital transformation is not just important, it is indispensable. Cities and regions are co-creators of our digital future. We are not just the implementers, we are the architects of the new design. And it's important to mention always this aspect here in Europe. There are 4 reasons why digital transformation must be shaped by cities and regions. I'll try to make short, just to announce, because you are very much aware of all of these reasons, which I just want to repeat it here. First of all, digital transformation is a matter of ownership. Secondly, digital transformation is a pillar of security and sustainability. By connecting everyone and everything, digital technologies can support our resilience against crises, from climate change to cyber threats. This connection needs to be done right, with interoperability and with security. Thirdly, connecting everyone means bridging the digital divides. And we are working together, and also in the European Committee of the Regions, of course, you are focusing so much how innovation can drive our economical growth, can develop our societies, can benefit our citizens. But in the same time, if we want to build up a strong Europe, no one should be left behind. And the digital divide, you know, especially in the present context, it's widening, unfortunately. But working together, local, regional, national level, the NGOs and all the societies, we can have a digital for all. I participated yesterday in a debate about the role of artificial intelligence, because our AI as the digital also is reshaping everything. The way we learn, we teach, we move, we act is happening today as digital is happening today. And I said a comparison with the medical field. I quote, AI will not replace doctors, but doctors who do not use AI will be replaced by doctors who use AI. This sentence you can apply everywhere. You can apply with digital tools, and you can apply to every worker or to every public employees. The one who used AI will not be replaced, but the one who doesn't use AI will be replaced by a public servant who used AI. So that I want to understand how important it is for local and regional point of view to emphasize the importance of digital activities and to support worldwide. Lastly, local leadership is the engine of innovation. And you know that innovation cannot be dictated from Brussels. It can be supported with money, but innovation is taking place in our cities, in our regions, and we need to create the ecosystem of innovation in order to be successful. And your role here is absolutely essential. Now, the European Committee of the Regions supports you. Why? You have been actively contributing to the Living in EU movement from its very beginning 6 years ago. This grassroots initiative has managed to grow a network of more than 400 signatures and supporters among cities and regions. I am one of them. And this network has developed the online tool for measuring the digital maturity of cities and regions, which within 2 years has convinced an additional 400 participating administrations to participate. I would like to call on the European Commission to continue supporting and financing Living in EU and Lord Dimas. We have been just talking at the end about that. So we are on your side, strongly arguing to the European Commission to continue the funding, which is now under question. The network has built a lot in 6 years. There is ownership on the tools developed and practical solutions brought forward. This, as much as AI gigafactories, is about digital innovation and regaining our continent's competitiveness. So we are on the same boat. We are part of the solution. You have us on board, on your side, and working together, we can make digital citizens empowering in Europe. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much for these supporting words. The facilitation work within digital transformation is indeed key on top of the technological development, so let's hope that we can indeed continue doing this together. Now, indeed, Living in EU has hundreds of supporters. The highest level of support is being a signatory. There we have today 209, and we're welcoming a few additional members. So we are going to have a ceremony about it. I will call the representatives of the cities or regions concerned there on stage. You will be handed over the signatory document, the declaration to sign, and then a picture will be taken. First, we have, not in the room, but with a quote, Nièvre numérique. And then second, and I see that Gabriela is urging me to speed up, we have Occitanie region represented by Mr. Mark Stulzmann. Please join us here in front on stage. Thank you very much. Francesca make the best pictures. Then Amalia Vrachnu, Chair of the Board at the Development Organization of the Municipality of Kifisia. We've seen her already before. Signing on behalf of the Municipality of Kifisia as the number 211. Okay, thank you. And then last for today, Bacau, if I hope I pronounce it well, municipality represented by the mayor, Mr. Lucian Daniel Stanchu Vicete. welcome to Living in You. Hoping to see you in the upcoming activities. This concludes this morning's session. Thank you all for having been here. Thank you to the panelists and the speakers. Those of you who registered, there's a lunch starting at 1:30 in Scotland Europe House at Place Schumann. So hope to see, if not all, most of you there. Thank you.